Hey gang, this is Andy over at Falco Canine Academy. I'm doing a little experiment. I'm coming on late tonight. It's 10 o'clock at night here on the Pacific Coast and here in Brea, California. Pacific Standard Time, I think is what I was looking for earlier a few minutes ago. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some video that I shot the other day. And it's more than just off-leash searches with the bedbug dogs. It actually was following we gave the dogs a bath. I then exercised the dogs. It was about 90 degrees out. Me, exercised the dogs just a touch by throwing the ball, getting them a little bit tired. I wanted them to be winded. And so about 5 or 10 minutes of playing fetch, a bath, which was a little bit stressful for both the dogs. I'm not sure that they've ever had a bath in their entire life. But some dogs don't like water and hose, the hose squirting water at them and that kind of stuff. So the added stress, a little bit of stress, plus the play, I then wanted to put the dogs in a search scenario. And then on the top of everything else, we did it off leash. And so I want to show you a couple of things that can happen when you tire dogs out. And again, I think the power of working off leash is powerful because it forces the dogs to really think through a little bit about what it is they're doing and what are the steps that they need to take in order to get that reward, which in this case is the toy. And then for me, coming on at 10 o'clock at night, I just kind of want to see who might be up at 10 o'clock at night, watching Facebook and possibly even coming on and being a part of the broadcast by commenting and just seeing what's going on. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this live or you're watching the preview, in the description, you can see that there's a link. If you click on that, that'll get you to a place where you can get a free report on training your dog with love and respect. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the comment section too. So just click on that link. That'll get you in there. In addition to that, there's a training program for teaching your dogs in a dog park situation. As you know, I've talked about this before. I'm not always a great fan of the dog park, but this series of videos that I put together on this program will help you use the dog park to create a closer relationship between you and your dog. And so feel free to check that out. In addition, if you happen to come on, if there is anybody still awake or paying attention here at 10 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time, you can come on live if you have a camera and mic set up that you can actually do that. Just make sure your camera's hooked up and your mic is working. Earlier I had a broadcast on another show I do called the Facebook Live TV show. A gentleman tried to come on, but just for whatever reason, it just wasn't connecting. So you just got to make sure that you have your mic and your camera connected to your computer properly, and you can become part of this broadcast, and we can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about in relationship to dogs and dog training and even bed bug detection dogs. All right. So, I can see that there's at least a couple people on right now. So there's other people that are up right now other than myself here at 10 o'clock at night. So again, feel free to use that link if you want to join me with your camera and your mic. Or just please type in something in the comment section. Let me know that you're there, that my sound is working, and then you're able to see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen here and a video. Actually, not sharing my screen. I'm just going to be sharing a video. And one of the things I'm trying to solve is I'm trying to figure out why the sound of the video that I play, you guys cannot hear. I'm using a program called Mimo Live. I called their support, and everything they told me I have connected correctly, and it should be playing. So let's see if it plays today. I will give it another shot and see if that actually works. And it may drown me out. I hope not, but just trying to get this all worked out. And so I think it helps for you to hear what it is I'm saying to the dogs. Unfortunately, up to this point, you've not been able to do that. So hopefully on this one you will. All right. So just to kind of set this up. Again, gave the dogs a bath, so that causes the dogs to have a little bit of stress in their life prior to doing some searches. In addition to that, I exercised the dogs for about 5 to 10 minutes playing fetch. It was about 90 degrees outside when I was doing that, and then brought them in to do a off-lead search, a number of off-lead searches. And what I took video of is the very first searches of this particular training day. And so what I want to do is talk through some of the things that you can see that are happening with these dogs. Both, I think, on having a little bit of a stressful And again, stress, I'm not talking about like we're mean to the dogs or anything like that. Just the stress of getting a bath and then exercised and then having them work, sniff and search and take us to source. And remember that once you get to source, you're supposed to sit to get your reward, right? In some cases, you can tire a dog out so much that they don't even want to play. And that's kind of the point where I was hoping to get with these dogs. But you'll see how important the selection process is, because when you get dogs that they want nothing more than to play with that toy, no matter how tired they are, no matter maybe how sick they may be, you'll still get positive results, because it is all about getting that toy. Regardless of what stress they may have been put through, regardless of how tired they may feel, no matter how hot it is outside, there's still a little bit more in the tank for them to conduct a search and actually make the find and put together the behaviors that we've been putting together over the last couple weeks, which is smelling for the bed bug odor, locating the source, and then giving us the alert behavior, which is the sit, to get the reward. All right, so let's, with no further delay, let's go ahead and start this video. All right. And so the video is showing now. I'm going to try, hopefully the sound will be working. All right. So I'm going to I'm not sure that I can stop it now that I'm thinking about it. But as you can see, the dog is doing a really good, this is Flash. Flash is, you can see he's not his normal fast self. He's a little bit slower, but he's actually a little bit more methodical. You see him sniffing around cracks and crevices. And I'm going to show you the find is right there with his nose is right now. Now watch when he makes that find and look at. So now, based on him being slightly tired, there's a delay. Like his brain is kind of frozen up just a little bit. Like his tail's wagging. He goes, I know I'm supposed to do something. I'm a little bit tired. And then he sits and gives the behavior, right? So there is that delay. But the one thing you don't want is when the dog is asking that question, I made the find, I forgot what I'm supposed to do. The one thing you don't want to do is answer his question. So if you can hear me on the video say nothing, that is the key, right? I don't want to tell the dog what it is he's supposed to do at this point. In the beginning, I did, all right? So now this is the second search of the same series. He's searching another classroom. This is like third graders or something like that we're in right now. Yeah, I think that's the third grade room. Could be. Maybe it's kindergarten. I can't remember. So in that stack, again, you see the same thing, that he found it. He's looking at me for, what am I supposed to do here again? I forgot. And again, I'm not. Now he's looking around. He may walk away. And that is okay if he does. He goes back to the source and then he sits. Nice. Really good. He didn't even scratch that time on the second time. I think he did the first time he went there, but he didn't do it the second time. And I think he just stopped that ball with his foot. Did you see that? It was a good soccer move. So Flash did a fantastic job. Okay, so here is Ollie. So Ollie, very nice search. He's still got energy, right? I don't think I tired him out as much as I did Flash. You can see Flash was a little wet too. I had to cool him off with some water. So earlier, if you thought Flash looked like he was a little bit wet, he was. I was just cooling him off. All right, he's doing a really good search here. Ollie is. Ollie's sticking his head in places, still sniffing, got some good energy. Again, I don't think I spent I think I got hot. And so Ollie didn't get as much time, playing fetch before we came into the search. There may be an odor in there, a bug, a spider, or something that the dog was attracted to. I'm not sure what it is. And remember, the find is, oops, what's wrong with my video? Is right there. And so he goes past it, but I think he recognized that there's something over there. Like he's got a little dirt on his nose. But again, this is kind of what happens there. The brain is working a little bit overtime. What's wrong with my video? Sorry about that. It's probably more my computer than anything else. Sorry about the video. Again, I'm doing this one-handed there. He makes the find, and I think he kind of does the same thing. So now he's smelling it. There's one vial in there. He looks at me for help. I give him nothing. I wait for him to make the decision. We want the dog to make the decision of what he's supposed to do. So see there, he stops short. He doesn't quite get his butt on the ground. That's the one thing you don't want to reward, is for a half sit, because then it'll be hard to fix it. You want the dog to understand that he's supposed to put his butt all the way on the ground. So here he's trying different angles. He's looking over his back. There, now it dawns on him. You see that? You see how it dawned on him that that's what he was supposed to do, that sit was supposed to be something that he was supposed to give us. And it almost like the light bulb just really turned on in that moment. I really liked it. So just to reinforce it, I do this search again and start from a different part of the room. And you can see now to him, it's almost like a completely different search because now we're started from the other side of this particular room. So sending Ollie back down to do the search. He goes over there and smells it. But again, remember, these dogs are a little bit tired. And I'm standing in a different spot. He goes back to that table. There's something very interesting about that table. I looked through that table to see if there was any bugs. There's something about that table that he found interesting. But of course, it wasn't bed bugs or else he would have sat. Just something that's grabbing his attention that he's thinking, maybe I rubbed against it, or maybe that's one of the hiding. I can't remember. Maybe I touched it. Think that's where I might put the bed bugs. It's possible. So that could be catching his attention. And then he goes over, makes that find again, and nice, a faster result. Good. But it goes behind a box. But the reward's still there. He knows that he got the reward. He moves it around himself. He gets the ball out, and good boy. All right, now we're going to take him into that next room, which you'll see it happen here. Oh, I'm going to show you what's in there. I'm going to show you the vial that's in there. It's in the corner. Maybe you can see it. It's hard to tell. Here we come again. I don't know if you can see it. It's sitting right there in the corner. All right, so we're going to go to the next search. I think maybe I didn't put that on this video. Oh, there it is. All right, so we're in the next room. And again, I think for me, this is a great training for the dogs. It really allows them to go through the process on their head without me helping them. I think this is a really important part of training. I'm not right next to them. I'm not using the leash to give them any influence. They're doing this all on their own, away from me. And I really do think this is one of the best phases of training that you could put a dog through. And you see, he went over to that chair. He smelt it. There could be the issue of how open it is, that odor is just kind of flying through. They're not really sealed in anything, but now he finds it. He pins it down and gives us that. He almost stopped a little short on that alert. So I may have rewarded a little bit too early on that one. Should have waited to make sure his butt was all the way on the ground. But everything else was there. He searched. He found. He followed the odor, I think, that trailed off to the right there. And he made a good decision to go back to confirm that it was still there, and we give good play. So you can see a little bit, I left the video on a little bit longer, so you can see we spend a little bit more time with play, letting him know he did a really good job, especially when, they're a little bit tired, a little bit winded, and maybe had a little bit of stress through the washing process, that you really want to make that play time even more stress releasing, even more rewarding, and make sure you're having a really good time with the dog. Feral? I guess it's Feral. Feral Bond. Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I really like this part of the job. I really like this part of the training. When you see the dog really process and put the steps together, right? Put together the whole package of, all right, I've got to do this thing. Now, what is it I'm supposed to do when I get there, right? And you see the dog kind of thinking through the process. You even see him kind of going away from the find, following the odor and going, okay, I'm smelling source odor, because those chairs have a little bit of a space. And so you have a little bit more of the odor spreading out. The air conditioning's on. It's, again, 90 degrees outside. The air conditioning inside the church is just blasting, right? When you open the door to your room, you got a vacuum effect. So there's plenty of that odor that's going to be washed to the right, where both the dogs, I think, spent a little bit of time. And then smelling, as it's getting, the odor gets stuck on cracks and crevices and changes of a surface. You can see where the dogs are smelling and catching a little bit of that odor, but then they go back to where the source of the odor is. And really, it's about putting that all together. The dog's, maybe not consciously thinking this, but in the end, the dog is saying, I smell the odor. I'm only getting rewarded when I'm going to where the odor is the strongest and where essentially the source is. And then if I do that and then give the sit behavior, that's when the toy appears. that's when he tosses me the reward. And so you can see them working through that process. And again, I think it's just a really the best time of training for these dogs. It's really an important time of training these dogs. I have a lot of people that I run into in some of the seminars we do with bed bug detection dog handlers that are so confused about the off-leash stuff. And they go, it just seems so helter-skelter and so random. No, it is powerful. It is powerful, especially in training. You may not have to do it on real searches, if you feel uneasy about your dog being off leash doing a search, which is perfectly fine. But I think for the training process, that to have that dog have more involvement in the success and the outcome of the search, I think is way more powerful in the training process for the dog. It really makes that connection with what the dog's job is. His job is to search the room, to find the odor, take you to source, and give you the alert behavior where he can no longer get any closer to that source. And he's done everything he could to get to that source. And I think doing that off leash is the best way to do that. I just think it's so freaking powerful. Again, if you want a report called that has to do with training your dog with love and respect, there's a link both in the comment section and up in the description. Just click on that. That'll take you to a page where you just put your name and email address. I'll send you that report for free in your email. And then there's an offer for training in dog parks and helping you create a better relationship with your dog through the use of a dog park. Again, dog parks aren't my favorite place for many dogs, especially dogs that have aggression issues, but you can make it a better solution if you follow the simple steps that I put you through in that program. Any questions about anything that we talked about on this broadcast in relationship to the bed bug dogs and the searching? I think there's some things to be said about pet dog training too. When you allow the dog to process some of the things that you are building in your obedience, helping the dog understand through letting him go through the process of figuring out for himself. If there's an appropriate time that you can do that, I think it's powerful. Sometimes at a door, if you have the dog on leash and you open that door and he wants to bolt out, but you stay strong on the leash and say nothing, right? When the dog bolts out, hits the end of the leash, and then kind of comes back and looks at you like, what the heck was that all about? And you close the door and then open the door again. The dog bolts out again. You're strong on the leash. Boom, the dog hits the end of the leash. You're not pulling back. You're not trying to throw him back on the ground. You're not trying to choke him. You're not trying to give him big correction. But simply at the opening of the door, he's doing this on his own. He's bolting out. You're staying strong on the leash. And you repeat that and just watch what happens, right? The dog will eventually think, when he opens that door, I'm not going anywhere. Because the last 3 times I've bolted and I've hit the end of the leash and we go nowhere, right? You'll see the dog go, let me just see what happens if I don't bolt out, right? And so you open the door, the dog doesn't bolt after the 3rd or 4th time it opened that door, maybe the 5th time, depending how hard-headed your dog is. And then you'll see a dog go, oh, I'm not doing that again, right? And then you see that happen with the dog, you go, nice, what a good dog. And then you begin walking outside. You'll be amazed that without using words other than the dog learning through the process of going through the steps of hitting the end of the leash and then figuring out, hey, when I don't run to the end of the leash and when I don't get, make the leash tight and feel that jerking motion that I've caused by running out, when I don't do that, then dad or mom takes me outside. I think that's very, very a powerful training process. And so I think some of the rules that I'm applying here to the detection dogs can obviously be applied to some of the pet dog training obedience things that we expect from our dogs. All right. So just keep that stuff in mind. And there's it's one of the easiest ways of training. It's very stress-free. You didn't see me get all excited or upset or angry when the dogs are looking at me, kind of confused. No, I'm looking at it as like, this is a great time. And you see the dogs figure it out. If the dogs weren't figuring it out, then you got problems. That means maybe you went too far too fast, right? And you didn't set the ground, the base of training firmly enough so that they could figure it out. So they had the knowledge that they needed to be able to figure it out. Maybe you just didn't do enough to set that up. All right. So Farley had a couple questions there. Fairly. So sorry. I came late. You may have already gone over this, but how do the dogs know the odors you want them to look for? All right. So and fairly, I'm so sorry, I hope I'm saying that right, Mr. or Mrs. Bond. I'm not sure which way to go with the name. If you scroll down on Falco Canine Academy's Facebook page, you'll get to the beginning of where we began to train these dogs. So there's a series of videos, or if you go in the left margin, you'll see where it says videos. Click on videos and you'll see the whole list of videos, and go to where you first hear me talk about the Northern Ireland dogs. And that's where these two dogs came from. And that will take you through each one of the steps of teaching the dog the odor and how we go about doing that. And then each stage of after you imprint the odor, then teaching the dog to do the search, and then getting to the point where we can do this, right? We send him into a room off leash to go make the find, and then make the find and give us the sit behavior. And so all those steps are pretty much, other than some videos that we weren't able to put together just because of time, pretty much you'll see the progression of taking a dog that knows nothing, which is both these dogs knew nothing about detection dog work when I first got them. As a matter of fact, they knew nothing about obedience, and they didn't know anything about walking on a leash. So they're about as green as you can possibly get. And then we're to this point now. So that started a couple weeks ago. Regards from Argentina. Hey, Will, fantastic. One of our trainers, Aldo Secchi, as you probably know, is from Argentina. He just got permission to have a visa to be able to visit and actually come work here in the United States. So we're looking forward to Aldo coming here from Argentina. So sorry, Will, we're going to be taking Aldo from you there in Argentina. As a matter of fact, I was just watching America's Got Talent, and there were two acts that were from Argentina. So, and they were both fantastic. One was a dancing act. Another one was a balancing act. I forget what they call it, but a roller balancing kind of thing. So I seem to have a lot of Argentina in my life. And so, so again, click on that link if you want a free report on training your dog with love and respect. Just click on that, put your name and email address in there. That'll get sent to you for free, and then you'll see a video about our dog park training. All right, any other questions? Fairly, I hope answer your question about the series of events. It would be too hard for me to explain everything at this point, but if you go down into the video section, which is again that left-hand margin, just click on videos, you'll see all the videos there, and you'll be able to find where we started with these dogs. Yes, Aldo is our teacher. Yes, Will. Oh, good. I'm glad that you get to experience the great Aldo. A fantastic trainer. I remember the day that we met for the first time. He came to Falco Canine Academy in Brea, and we've been brothers ever since, and written a book together, and have done some other stuff. So really looking forward to Aldo coming down here. I have been dying to come down to Argentina, and if he doesn't come down here soon, maybe I'll fly to Argentina, and we'll get together down there first before he comes here to the United States. But I have been dying, literally just dying to go down to Argentina and see what's happening down there and meet some great people. Because based on all the activity on our Falco Canine Academia page, our Spanish page, there is a lot going on. Aldo has tons of stuff going on there in Argentina. So go ahead and check that out and see what he's doing down there. If you're a Spanish speaker, you'll be able to, I got to hit the translate button and go through the translation, but there's a lot of dog stuff going on over there in Argentina, and Aldo has a big part of what's going on there in Argentina. All right, good. I'm glad that you'll be able to check that out. Check out the videos, and you'll be able to see the series of events for the most part. You know, I'm watching this video because it's still playing over here on my other program. But that one time where Ollie jumps up and smells the wall, there's going to be some great things in both these dogs' future. They're just going to make stars out of their handlers. I cannot wait till the handlers get these dogs because these dogs, this is just the beginning. They are young. They are a year old. These are young dogs. I normally don't get dogs that are a year old, but just got very fortunate. Chris over there in Northern Ireland helped me pick these two dogs and did a great job. He really knows what kind of dogs that I look for, and he hit the mark with both these dogs. The one thing about that you need to know about bed bug detection dogs, or the dogs that we select for detection work, you know, they may not make the perfect pet, but they do make the perfect detection dogs. And so if you can put up with an energetic dog who is going to get the job done, and just keep that in mind, because when I go out there, they've got energy. They're running around. Again, it's been 90 to 100 degrees here, and they're still running around like crazy maniacs and jumping about and having a great time. And then they go out there and do a job like this and just search this entire church and play and have a good time. And so I'm really looking forward to what the handlers are going to do with these dogs, because again, they will make them stars. This is just the beginning, right? If they go in there and do this search the way that they're doing it now, and the handlers follow through with the training that we're going to put them through, and then continue to make these dogs stronger and stronger after 6 months, because that's usually about the time that it takes, about 6 months to about a year for the team to become a solid detection dog team. Yes, 6 months to a year. I know that often like throws people for a loop, like, really, what? That doesn't mean they're not going to work in the first 6 months or they can't get the job done. They can, but when you, the difference that you have from day 1 to 6 months from now is incredible. It's night and day, because you begin to know a lot more about each other. You know the limitations, you know the strengths. The dog can almost actually read your mind. The muscle for the detection work is now so strong that the dog is way more effective. I remember when a team, I'll leave names out of it, but came out of Canada. And when they came back, they followed everything we taught them to a T. And when they came back, they were able to stand at the doorway at every search, send their dog in, and they hardly moved. And the dog knew every inch of every room where it was supposed to sniff to have success. And the dog continuously had success. As a matter of fact, the dog even won them an award in a competition that we had one day with like 13 or 14 other bed bug detection dogs, and won. And the handlers barely have to move. You know, they just they did such a great job of following through with the training, understanding what their dog needed to do to be successful. The maintenance training that they did was flawless, obviously, and the dog did great. We got Honey, one of the bed bug detection dogs we trained for Western Exterminator. I've now take that dog and do demonstrations in front of 100, 200, 300 people, where I stand on stage, I send the dog out, and she will find the bed bugs that are hidden under the seats in a room of 200, 300 people that are eating muffins, that are walking around, talking, and doing other stuff, and she'll search and ignore everybody and make those finds. And so that comes from good handlers. I can train a good dog. I can select a good dog, but if I give it to a poor handler, the dog will eventually be crapola, right? No matter how good the dog is, no matter how diligent I was in finding the best dog, if it's with a handler that doesn't follow direction, a handler that doesn't, handle maintenance training well, and it just doesn't do their job, they can make a great dog bad, right? And so it really is a team effort. I need to select the right dog. I need to put the base training into position so that when the handler takes over, they can just continue on this upward track and get to a point about 6 months from now where they are just flawless and doing good, solid work. But after they leave my hands, it really is now up to the handler to follow through with the training that needs to be done. All right, so really looking forward to these handlers. They both, I know, are going to be great, and I have nothing but strong hopes for both these dogs with these handlers to go on and do some great work together. All right, so there you go. That's it from a late night here in Brea, California. My little experiment seemed to work because we had a lot of people on this broadcast and some good interaction from our friends that had decided to join us I'm fairly sure that is correct. And Will Scott, thank you for joining me, and the others that I can see that are on but are not commenting. I'm glad that you're here watching, and hope I didn't keep you up too late, and really appreciate your time and paying attention to what we're doing here. I really, really do appreciate it. I mean, when we get off this thing, sometimes we have 300 to 400 people that are watching. And so I'm just so thankful that we have such an audience. If you ever have any comments or concerns or anything about about anything that we're doing, just make sure and join us on the broadcast. Give us a call. Our phone number is on the Facebook page. So make sure and feel free to contact us and let us know what you want to see more of. After these dogs go away, I'll be on to the next project, and I just got an order for another bed bug dog. So they're looking for a different kind of dog, so we may see a different breed here coming up pretty soon. All right, you're welcome, Will. And yeah, I would love to come to Argentina and visit you down there, Will. So that's my plan. I'm hoping to do that pretty soon. All right, that is it. back to what's on the agenda today? What's on HBO tonight? I think The Leftovers. I'm at the final 2 shows of the 3rd season, the final season. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. All right, that is it. I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.